Hi there, I'm Jit Sahota here at Network Virtualization Europe in Madrid, and I'm here with one of our lead sponsors, an individual from IBM, Stephen. Stephen, would you be able to tell us a little bit more about yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Steve Teitzel, and I'm with IBM's Global Telco team. I'm a global solution exec for the world of Network and OSS Transformation, a solution domain that we have that brings together IBM's products as well as our services and our partners to drive solutions for our clients in the space of network and OSS transformation.
So the telco landscape has always been flexible, but it seems as though things are evolving at an ever-increasing pace. And needless to say, things aren't really becoming any calmer, they're not really becoming any more stable. Why do you think that is, and what challenges do communication service providers face in 2017?
I think that the challenges that service providers face is on multiple levels, right? They're facing this digital disruption as things move to a digital environment, and they have to now begin to communicate with their clients in a manner that is digital. They have to be able to deal with that on the infrastructure, like we're talking about here, around NFV and SDN and the whole world of network virtualization. But there's a piece in between that too, that they're encountering digital disruption in terms of how do they do the operations in this new world, because it's got to change. It's a whole new environment for them. So really dealing with digital disruption on multiple levels here at the same time at an ever-increasing pace.
So considering industry perils and that greater issue of digital disruption, what do you think the future might look like for communication service providers?
I think communication service providers are going to encounter a hybrid world as they go into the future. It's not going to be all virtual. It's not going to be all physical, right? It's going to be a combination of those two, but it's not just going to be in the world of the network. It's going to be a hybrid world of network, physical, virtual. It's going to be a hybrid world of IT and network. And one of the things that they're just beginning to work with now is also, it's going to be a hybrid world of on-prem and off-prem. They're dealing with that today in the IT world by utilizing off-prem environments, but it's going to be a hybrid world, we think, also in the on-prem and off-prem with the network side as well. But beyond that, as you begin to take a look at this hybrid world, the other piece that we're seeing is it's going to really change as it becomes a cognitive world as well. And what that means is there's not enough people, there's not enough smart people to really continue to develop the things that they need or operate the world that they have. So they're going to have to do that with a cognitive environment and using the worlds of a cognitive capability. What we're seeing today in that kind of that in-between area of disruption in the operations world is a lot of the discussion today is very reactive. It's foundational reactive. They're getting to, real-time ability with analytics and bringing that all together, which is really good. But they're going to have to move from a reactive world to one that is also proactive. And when you move to a proactive world, the key is to have enough smart people to help you define what that is and to drive that kind of operations. But beyond that, there's just not enough of those folks around that know the world of data, that know the world of networks and are able to help you drive that prediction. So they're going to need people, they're going to need capabilities that come from the cognitive world, from the world of the machine, to help them find those patterns of predictions to work upon. That's where we begin to see it. That's the beginning of this whole discussion, and that's why we see it also being a cognitive world as well as a hybrid world in the world of the network that's coming for the service provider.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you're saying cognitive offers a new dimension on what communication service providers are already doing operations so that they can evolve towards a better model. But what's this about? Can you explain what cognitive computing is at its core?
To us, cognitive computing allows us to do something that expands on what the service provider is already doing. A lot of people say, well, cognitive computing is just artificial intelligence. And that's a part of it. It brings the machine to bear on all of the factors that are going on. But it's more than artificial intelligence. It's more than automation of an operational environment. It really is about how do you augment the operational environment that exists, both augment it from a technology perspective, but also the place that we're finding a lot of excitement is augmenting it from an operations staff perspective as well. And so what cognitive is really about is about being able to go out and pull together and all the data that's going on around the network. Being able to pull in all of that information that exists. And there's a vast set of information that's out there, and it's able to reason and pull that together. But in addition to that, it's also able to understand non-structured types of data. What I mean by that is there's a whole lot of dark data that clients have in their network today around the problem tickets they've already solved, the methods and procedures that they have, all the vendor manuals that they have. All of that is unstructured data and can be brought to bear in the solution. So a cognitive environment not only is able to reason, but it's also able to understand, in fact, understand in natural language as well. So you can interact with it in a natural language environment. But the key pieces of that allows that augmentation of intelligence is that it is able to learn too from the interaction that's going on. So as you begin to apply that to the world of operations, in this world of virtualization that's going on that we're all trying to learn from and trying to learn how to work within, all of a sudden it makes sense to have a cognitive operations environment that's driving this space.
Right, but isn't this something that's ahead of its time? Has IBM attempted such model transformations?
Well, that's a great question. What we're seeing with the whole world of cognitive and the world of operations, we're seeing this world come together around what we're calling cognitive service operations. Especially as we move into the world of virtualization, we can't just focus on the failure of a component or a node in the network. All of that is important, and that's how we've been reacting and prioritizing all of the work that we do in the network operations today. But as we move to a virtual world, you and I don't care when our Facebook application or our Google Maps application, we don't care if the hard drive's up or down. We care about the service. And so in a virtual world, the same thing is going to happen. It's going to be more important that we focus on the service operations instead of simply the network operations. Both are important, but service operations becomes really key. As we focus in then on the service operations, we need to be able to bring all that data today. And what's interesting is I can do that today in a physical world. I can bring that together and drive service operations in a physical world today by bringing the right KPIs and the right KQIs together. And then I can augment, even in the physical world, to this world of proactive operations by taking that data and beginning to do proactively upon it, finding the patterns of behavior that should exist and finding the anomalies to those behaviors. And again, I can begin to use cognitive today in that environment to build out those patterns and help the operators in a physical world. As we now evolve also to a virtual world, that all comes together in this discussion of a hybrid network environment that we're doing. And so cognitive service operations works today in our world today. It also will work tomorrow in the hybrid network world. And IBM has a lot of experience in helping customers transform. We ourselves transform on an ongoing basis. We've had to survive for 100 years and continue to thrive in this environment that we're in today. As we do that, we can also help our clients transform as they go through this process and make sure that they're successful in transformation to a cognitive service operations environment.
So what have you done to make this journey easy? Have you worked on limiting problems that might potentially creep up?
Yes, great question, because as we worked in this space, what we've begun to do is we've begun to take some of the cognitive capabilities, and rather than making it a custom environment, we've been able to embed that into products so it automatically is able to go out and find that information for you. In addition to that, we have now the surface models that go with that whole area of service operations to be able to build that out. And with that, the methodologies and procedures to be able to implement that in a client's environment. And what we're finding, even on the initial stages, is by moving to this kind of a world of cognitive service operations, we're able to drop operational costs significantly year to year, drop mean time to repair for problems, right? And how long does it take to fix a problem? By somewhere of 35 to 40%. Drop the number of trouble tickets that get created in a normal operating environment by 35%. These are some significant numbers in driving real operational savings today in this world, and it's only going to continue to grow as we begin to add more cognitive capabilities to it.
Right, the future is now, so what should viewers understand out of this dynamic present?
I think the simplest thing for users and service providers to begin to do is to start. I think that a lot of times we spend a lot of time examining, and that we lose a lot of value by not starting and driving that today. And we can drive that from that foundational reactive perspective that we were talking about before, just starting to focus on service operations in addition to network operations. We can also then grow today and move that to predictive operations, and we can begin to bring in all of that unstructured data by moving to cognitive operations. And it's really kind of interesting because as we do that, we're driving that in a very innovative way, but we're finding that our partners are also beginning to tap into that cognitive capability as well. And our partners are going out and beginning to put things like image recognition into their components so they can begin to find failure on cell towers and things like that. And if you think about it, what we're really doing here is enabling the network operations staff, similar to the way we enable health providers today to go out and take a look at cancer problems and stay on top of all of the research that's going on top of cancer. What we're enabling is the network operator to do the same thing in the network world, right? And be able to be on top of all that information and have the right information at the right time. We're helping them also by being able to bring that information together and augment their operational environment.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Stephen, thank you very much for your insight there. I'm sure the viewers will appreciate that and some really interesting points that were made.
Thank you, Chip. Appreciate it. Appreciate spending time with you today.